Yo, what's up, guys? Happy Monday. It is, what is it? June 15th today. And we are, we're going to kick off the week. We're going to kick off the week and see if we can't get our week set up for success. So what I'm going to do here is get ready to see any of you that are coming on, making sure that everything is connecting here. So bear with me, making sure that everything is going out on time. Let's see here. All right. So today I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about this creating money assets and attracting buyers with blog content. Well, because a post came out today on the podcast. So I figured I would talk about that, and we can kind of dig in a little bit there. And if you guys have any questions on that, we can address those. But today we had a podcast episode go out that was all about that, about our recent blog post that, after, what was it? About 7 months, we started to see some traffic. And then from there, we said, you know what? This post actually can turn into a money generating asset. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to look at the actual content, and then we're going to plug other products in, or potential products. And that's what we've done here. Now, there are certain things that you want to look for when you are creating money assets, as we'll call them. But we want to look at those pieces of content. We want to look at those from the eyes of a consumer. So we'll talk about that. And I'm going to go ahead and see who's shown up here today on our Monday Talk. All right. Well, it looks like we got some regulars in the house. What's up, Salama? Hello to you. James, good morning to you, my friend. How's it going? Karen, good morning. Got a lot of gardening done this weekend. Walking slow this morning, LOL. Yeah, my hands are actually a little bit sore just from pulling weeds. It was kind of crazy out there. Man, I'll tell you what, you try to get grass to grow, pretty hard. Weeds, they'll grow like crazy. Don't need much. All right, we got Justin in the house from Australia. Love it. You know, I love that when I hear that we got people tuning in from all over the world. That's awesome. And Justin said, oh, don't forget to sip your coffee. Well, I'm going to try not to forget. And I thank you for reminding me of that. Agnet, what's up? Good morning to you as well. How are you? Yeah, you know, it's interesting because, we have some regulars that show up here when we do this live, but I also know that there's a lot of people watching the replay. And the reason why I know this is because yesterday, I had a friend actually reach out to me and say, I don't show up to your coffee talks live. And I'm like, that's okay. And they're like, but I always watch the replay. And I thought that was interesting because I guess you don't realize that you realize it, but you don't really, I guess I'm focusing on you guys, and I'm not necessarily always thinking about the people that are watching later. So I want to take a minute to say thank you if you have watched some of these coffee talks and joined us in spirit because you weren't able to make the coffee talk. And I just want to say thank you for taking time out of your day to hang out with me. I actually had Karen from Brand Creators Academy, and she put a screenshot of her TV as she was multitasking, and she had me on the big screen like this right here. So Karen, if you are watching this on the big screen, hello, how is it going in your house? What are you doing? Are you cooking something good? I thought that would be funny because if I am in the living room, it'd be pretty funny to see that. And actually, she posted a picture of it. It was just kind of odd for me to see myself on someone's TV in their living room. So it was kind of funny. But anyway, so having a good morning, to be honest with you. The sun is trying to come out today. We're not supposed to get a ton, but I'm going to take what I can get. But I have a short week this week, actually. I have only about 3 days because I'm going to be heading to my daughter's for a little while because we're doing a virtual baby shower. So we're going to be doing that on Saturday. So I decided, you know what, as a family, we're going to go and we're going to be there in person with just our immediate family. And then people are going to be connecting our internal family, I would say too. It's, my father, my daughter's grandfather, he'll be on. So people that are not able to come to a real baby shower are going to be able to hang out virtually. We're going to do a Zoom and all of that stuff. So pretty interesting. It'll be fun, but it's just different, right? We got to do these things virtual right now. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I've got 3 days. But here's the other thing. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I've got coffee talks coming up on Thursday, on Friday, on Saturday. So what do you do? Well, you know what? I can still carve out a half hour to be here and show up and hang out with you and have coffee in the morning. So I'm going to still do that. So I already told the family, I said, I got coffee talks at 10 o'clock with my online friends. So just know that I'll be in a different location. I don't know where I'm going to be as far as doing it, but I don't know. I might be out on the screen porch. I might be out, I don't know, on a walk. I don't know. I'll figure that out, but I will be there. So 10 a.m. Eastern, I'll be still showing up because I'm all about being consistent. All right. Let's see here. Who else we got? Rebecca's in the house. What's up? Let's see. Oh, Salama says, did you pull weeds bare feet? No, I didn't. Actually, because I was on my driveway and it was kind of like this little embankment. So no, I did not do that. Good morning from Georgia. What's up, Kay? Do you prefer we join via Facebook or YouTube? It doesn't matter. Whatever, Justin, whichever's easiest for you. It doesn't matter one bit to me. But what I will say here is I really want you guys to help me spread the word. I want you guys to invite a friend if you could, or let someone know that you think that would get value from these. Because the only way that I keep doing these is I need you to show up. And I know you guys, all you hardcore take action crew peeps, you guys have been showing up and I appreciate you guys. I truly, truly do. But today, what I'm going to be talking about, I talked a little bit about it the other day. And that is really about creating money assets. Now, I'm not talking about money assets that you are going to put into stock, although this could be treated like that. How many times have you heard people say we need to invest in stock or a good stock, or we need to invest in, an IRA or any of that stuff? And I've heard it for years. I'm sure you've heard it. And you know what? I have money in an IRA. I have money in stock, but what do you generally do when you buy stock? What do? You hold it, right? Like right now, we might be taking a dive in the stock market, right? I don't really care because I'm not pulling it yet, right? I'm not using that money. So we're waiting. But here's the deal. When we're creating content or, our own assets that reside on our website, those can potentially be stocks in a sense, where they're going to bring money into your business. All right. Now, there are ways to really strategically create these so they become a money asset. Okay. So I want you to think about that when you're creating content. And I always tell people, you want to have 3 different buckets. You want 1 is the questions bucket, 2 is the how-to bucket, and 3 is the product-based bucket. Now, you can have a mix of both, or you can have all 3. It can work out that way. But if you are going after a buyer's intent, okay, something that someone is searching for, and if they find the answer, they're that much closer to buying that thing, well, we can create content that really attracts buyers, okay? Now, we've been doing this on a website that we've been building inside of Brand Creators Academy. We've been doing it now for just over 9 months. I think closer to 10 now. And we have 1 post right now that it just kind of took off. And I say take off or took off. It's I think last month it was like 2,100 page views. And even if we get 50 people a day to come to that one blog post, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute here. That's 50 people a day. Imagine getting 50 people to come into your store that are looking for rubber worms to catch bass, right? You got a good chance of someone buying something because they're looking for rubber worms, right? So that's what we need to think about when we're creating these money assets, okay? So I always try to make it a point that when I am creating content, and if it's a fresh blog, if it's a blog or a website that's not that old, I always want to start with a whole batch of questions because they're just easy. But those questions could be around certain products or how to use those certain products or what should I know before getting the product, right? So if you're planning out your content, try to sprinkle in some of those. We talked yesterday about planting seeds on our coffee talk on Sunday, which this is right in line with that. What we're doing here is we are planting seeds. It's just these seeds can turn into a money tree. Yeah, we've heard that before, right? Yeah, hey, go pick it off the money tree in the backyard. Well, we can technically build these money trees in a sense. Now, I don't want this to sound spammy or scammy or any of that stuff because I'm not saying all you got to do is go out there and plant something and it's going to grow into a money tree. But it's kind of like this. If you plant a blog post out there, you post it, you've planted a seed. If people find it that are interested in that thing that could lead to a sale, in a sense, that could bring in money for years to come. Okay. Now, the one thing I wouldn't do is make it so it was something that could be hot now and then not be hot in a year, right? So you want to be careful when you're creating these longer term money assets. You want to be sure that you're not just riding a trend of some kind. Now, trends can be good to get attention and get traffic, but not necessarily for something that will be a long-term asset. So I kind of look at when you're building a website, I look at that as building a piece of real estate. I've talked about this before, right? I have a lake house that I turned into an Airbnb. It took a lot of capital to get that thing up and running. I want to do another one right now, but I'm just not ready because it's a lot of money up front out of pocket. And it's right now in the heart of people buying homes, so you're going to pay more. So I'm going to wait. But it's very similar because if I want to create another Airbnb, I've got to have this whole bunch of money to outlay. I've got to, I've got to buy the home. I've got to renovate the home and all of that stuff. With a website, all we need to do is get one up and running. And then we have multiple opportunities to turn that into traffic and then the traffic into money, right? And we've talked about various ways on how to monetize. But in this case, if I have people coming to my website every single day, that's traffic that could potentially turn into money. And once I get it, get this thing rolling, who's to say that I won't get that to $1,000 per month on autopilot? All right. And that's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm looking at how do I get this thing to produce? I always start with that as my benchmark, by the way. I want to get it to $1,000 a month within a year. And the reason why that's my target is because I look at it like if I was to purchase a rental property, not necessarily a lake house Airbnb, that's a little bit higher scale. But if I was going to just buy an Airbnb and I said, I want to be able to make $1,000 per month on that, it's not that easy. Okay. It's not that easy. But to do that in a website, it's actually easier, in my opinion. Again, it's like a piece of real estate, and that real estate will also, as it grows, become more valuable, right? So you ask anybody that does rentals, they'll tell you they'll spend 200 grand on a property and rent it out, hoping to cover their costs and maybe net $400 a month, maybe $5, maybe, and then they're praying that nothing goes wrong, right? So if you think about it like that, how do I take that same thinking and apply that to a website? It's creating money generating assets inside of the website, which is a piece of real estate in my eyes. Okay. So that's how I look at it. And then from there, I just go ahead and I build this thing over the course of a year and I try to get it to $1,000 per month. Once I get it to $1,000 a month, then I can go ahead and say, okay, maybe we'll go over here and we'll build another house, right? Well, another rental property. Now, does that mean that that's going to stop at $1,000? No, It doesn't. It just means that's the goal before we're going to branch off and do another one. Now, I kind of broke the rules here for myself because I had one going as a public case study inside of Brand Creators Academy, and I had another one that I wanted to do right side by side. So this way here, I could test it in 2 different markets, but I can also not have our results skewed at all in the beginning because no one knew what the secret brand was that we were building, and then the public one. But it's funny because now the one that we're sharing inside of the Academy, the one that's public, that one there is really taking off. And there's no way that our Academy members could be, that it could just be from them. And I know that for a fact. So, I mean, we're well over 30,000 page views a month, which is crazy. But again, going back to only focusing on one property at a time versus having 5 of them going at once. So that's another big takeaway. So this way here, you don't get sidetracked. All right. So that is it in a nutshell, though. I wanted to share that with you because I want you to think about when you're creating a piece of content, there's different forms of content. Again, there's attention getting, just getting traffic over. But once they come over, are there things internally that you'd be linking to that are going to keep people on the site longer, but then also potentially turn into revenue? Okay. And then what we can do is we can become more strategic by creating content specifically for buyer's intent, people that are searching for something to buy, right? 5 router bits for furniture making, just an example, right? They're looking for router bits, right? If I have a good write-up on router bits, everything that they need to know, probably going to buy from my site. They don't have to be mine. They could be off of Amazon, or they could be a private affiliate deal. But also while they're there, guess what? If they're into woodworking, they might be into a digital ebook that I might either offer, or maybe I find one on ClickBank of someone that teaches how to do woodworking, and now I'm an affiliate for them. So see, they're buying router bits. I know that, right? Because they came over from that search, might buy, but while they're there, they might also want to get some woodworking plans. I can sell those. Those are on ClickBank, right? So all of this stuff happens by getting traffic and going into your market and finding out what they want and what they need. But products, when you start generating content around products, that's where you're starting to plant these money seeds. Okay. And I just want you to think about that when you're creating your articles. And you might want to say, you know what, I'm going to create 4 articles a month. One of them is going to be a money generating asset, and then just keep deploying those. So that's what I would recommend. All right. So do we have any quick questions on that? See what you guys are saying in here. JD says coffee talk. Oh, it's funny. What's up, Mike? Smiley. Good morning, crew. Let's see here. How do you stop from ever researching topics? Over researching. Oh, yeah, I think a lot of people want everything figured out before they actually hit publish. And to me, that's the killer. That's where you're going to be in a research phase for too long. So I always say, get through the validation stage as quick as you can. If you have not been through the brand growth validation checklist, I'm going to go ahead and throw that up here for you. If you go to brandcreators.com, that will take you to our main website. There will be a little box there that says checklist. Download that. That will allow you to validate your market. Once you validate your market, it's going to show you the opportunities and also where you should start. And then from there, I would definitely say grab a copy of Brand Creators book, which will walk you through every single step in building out your brand. But you got to validate it first, right? But the thing is you just got to commit to it, and you got to pick one. I did a call the other day with Octavio. And if you're watching this on a replay, I just wanted to give you a little shout out again. It was a great interview that's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks. But what Octavio said in our talk together on the interview, one thing that he said that really stood out to me is he said, I was waiting until I found my perfect niche, until I found my perfect, the perfect business for me that I was going to just go all in on. And I found myself just treading water. I just kept, I'm I'm not ready yet. I don't know yet. I got to figure it out. It doesn't feel 100% yet. And all of these things. And he did that for probably close to 6 to 8 months. Then he joined Brand Creators Academy. And we're very, very focused on making sure that you get started as soon as possible. Okay. You have like a little window, right? A little window to sit there and go back and forth until you decide. But the one thing that he said was, you know what? I picked something that I thought I could talk about, that I wanted to get to know more about. And I had a little bit of a background. I'm not an expert at it, but it's something that I have an interest in, and something that I want to go ahead and just put out there. And I don't know what it's going to turn into, but it's something that I can at least get started today. Now, since he's started that, he's writing content, I think 3 to 4 blog posts a week. He's started his Pinterest. He's got an email list, right? So all of that stuff, he's ranking or in Google on page 1 for some very competitive search terms, right? All of this happened in the last 6 months. And the reason why is because he got out of the, I got to research and make sure that it's perfect before I actually hit go, right? But the cool thing is he's developed so many skills by going through this process, right? You learn so much by doing, guys, not by researching so much, right? You learn from research, yes, but then you got to do it. You got to get in there so you can learn the skill, right? You might have learned a skill as far as like how to do research, but how do you actually apply it, right? That's why I'm not a big like book. You got to have a book and you got to learn through a book. No, take the book and then take action on what we go through, right? That's how you're going to learn. And when you build a list, guess what? You've got that as an asset for your own self. You've got a skill set. Okay. You start writing content. You're going to learn how to write content. You're going to learn how to delegate someone writing content, which it's funny because Octavio had questions on how do I reach out to a writer? How do I, what's the right thing to say? What's a good, what's the keywords I should be asking them to do? So he had all these questions. Then he went ahead and he got his answers, and then he put together his own little template, and he submits it. It's like easy, right? But the other cool thing that he did, and that's what I love about our community, is then he shot a video walking through him reaching out to his writers and getting a writer hired, right? So that's the other cool thing, is now he's somewhat teaching it to our academy members because he's learning and he loves doing it. But you learn by doing. Yes, you got to learn the process. I've been on here telling you guys about the process for probably the last, 80 some days at least. But I've been saying this for the past 2 years on the podcast, right? But what you got to do is you got to do it. You got to do the work, and you got to do it to learn, right? So if you're sitting there and you're in the research phase, man, you got to get out of the research phase. You got to get into the action. Like, we can sit here and plan what the play is going to look like, but until we run it up against our other team, we're not going to see how it reacts or what we got to adjust, right? So you got to get out of that research phase. All right, let's see here. Okay. What made your blog take off after 10 months? Patience and consistency. That's all it is. There is no secret strategy. There's everything that I talk about in here, everything that I talked about on this coffee talk, whenever we talk about keyword research, any of that stuff, basic keyword research and basically content, getting it out there and then moving on to the next piece. Now we're adding Pinterest. We have for the past 2 months. That's helping. But all we've done is exactly what I've talked about here, right? There's nothing secret. There's nothing special. I'm not going to say that there's all this magic formulas that you're going to do. It's consistency. It's showing up. Yes. Are there better ways than others to find keywords? Yes. But a lot of times it's just showing up and being consistent. The reason why that blog is starting to take off is because it's time, right? We've got content on that site that's getting indexed that we wrote 3 months ago, right? And then you start getting into the flow. You start getting into the rhythm. And that's really, really important. Let's see. Once a week is enough to get traction. It can be. I do believe that if you can ramp that up, it's going to speed up the process. But here's the deal. I don't ever recommend someone speeding it up until you've figured out the process. So I always say start with 1 blog post a week and then get that process down. And then once you start getting some rhythm, maybe make it 2, right? But 1 per week, would be better than none per week, right? So yeah, one per week, you can totally get rolling with that. Mike, almost all products we use are made, released, and then undergo regular updates and upgrades. This is why I've stopped insisting everything be absolutely perfect before I pull the trigger. It is not easy, but will help get out of the perfection jail. Yeah, I agree. What is it? The MVP product, minimal viable product, right? Whenever I do a launch, a course, I always do beta. I always do it where I'm like, you know what, guys? If you want to be the first class to go through it, you can. It's going to be a little bit of a discount, but I'm going to roll that thing out. It's not going to be polished, but you're going to get all the information you need, right? And then we get it out the door. And that way there, we get to see what people liked, what they didn't like, what we need to add, you know, the feedback and all of that stuff. You gotta stop overthinking it. Justin, do you advise to build multiple sites at the same time, or should we focus on one site at a time? In the beginning, one site at a time. That is your learning site. That is what's going to develop your process. That's what's going to develop your rhythm, your strategy. You're going to learn. If you try to do multiple ones, it's going to get a little bit overwhelming, and then it might make you back off. So I always say, get one where you feel like you got a rhythm. Then you can go off and say, you know what, let me go over here and start this second one. And then we'll just plug in the process, right? We'll just plug in the process. And that's what we've done. So definitely. And yes, thank you, Justin. I appreciate you. The reason why I'm saying that is because he said, take a sip of coffee, will you? Derek, can I create too many money assets, like investing in training? No, I think what you're saying, can I create too many money assets? If you're creating your own money assets, meaning if you're creating, I think with what you're saying is, if you invest in yourself, that's a money asset. I agree with that, but to a certain degree, right? We got to get out of the learning phase so much. We have to get more in the action stage. Now, we can learn as we're taking action, but we can't be sitting there saying to ourselves, I'm going to do 50% of just courses. I'm just going to take a whole bunch of courses. I'm going to learn Facebook ads. I'm going to learn email list building. I'm going to learn funnel building. I'm going to learn content creation. It's way too much, right? It's way too much. So I would say, if it was me, like right now, you guys are getting all of the information that you need right here, right? And I'm not saying you can't go over here and go over there and go over there. Yes, that's fine. If there's something over there that you need help with, then go get it, but only let it be the thing that you are working on, right? So the way that I look at it is, right now, our whole plan moving forward is this. I'll be straight up with you guys. So number one, build a website. It's always going to start with my home base, building a website. Okay. Build a website. We get content going. We get that dialed in. Okay. We do that. Now, Pinterest, that's going to come next because it's easy and it also amplifies the current content that we have. Right. And then from there, if an email list makes sense, I'm going to do an email list. Okay. But not always, just most of the time. Okay. So that's that. As soon as I get that dialed in, actually what I would do, instead of building out a new site, is I would say, okay, and we talked about this, how can I plan out some content that could turn into a digital product? If I can lay that out in 6 steps or 6 posts and then bundle that up and make a digital product out of that, now what I can do is I can have 6 different pieces of content that could potentially bring in traffic, and then I can take those, bundle them up, make a lead magnet that would lead people there, and then offer that for $9.99 or $19.99, whatever. I'm making a digital asset. What is a digital asset? It's money. It's a money asset, right? So I look at, how are we building assets in our business, right? Traffic is assets. The affiliate offers that you promote are assets, right? That content that pushes there. An email list, asset, right? A digital product, and I don't care if it's a small ebook, it's a digital asset that turns into money, right? So that's what I would do. And again, going to that next site, I don't know if I would do that right away. I think I would do that first, as long as there's a digital play there, a digital product play. Okay. Okay, just answered that. Let's see. Oh, what's up, Grace? Good morning to you. I missed Octavio's message. Where did he came? He didn't come in here, did he? I didn't see him. Let's see here. Okay, what if I already started a site? Do I stop on the other one? I have two. No, I don't think you have to stop, but I would say maybe just commit to one piece of content on the other one, and the other one is in the secondary one or the first one, whichever. That's one that you might be spending a little bit more time, in that one. I'm not saying you have to stop doing it, but what I'm saying is it's going to take, think about this. You have an hour's worth of time. Are you going to focus that all on the one side, or are you going to split 30 minutes and 30 minutes, right? Something's going to give, right? So I would say get the one where it's a well-oiled machine and you've got the process dialed in. Then from there, just take that, plug it into the other one, and do maybe one article a week, and that's it. That's it, just the one. You don't even have to bolt on the Pinterest to that yet if you don't want to, okay? Let's see. Salama, do you consume any podcasts to get ideas for your content? Favorite podcasts? So do you mean this? Do I get ideas for this? Generally, no. I don't. I've got so many ideas that just come in from you guys, or from, people emailing me, or people posting on social. I don't really need to, because I'm trying to stay in my lane as well. It's not a bad idea. It's just, it needs to pertain 100% to what I'm doing right here. So no, I just know that I'm staying in my lane of building a brand. And what does building a brand consist of? Well, content creation to get traffic, right? Building it to or driving it to a website, right? Now Pinterest as another traffic source, bringing it over. And then now, actually, it's funny because probably the past, I would say 3-4 weeks, it's starting to be known that I probably should start talking and sharing and teaching inside of our academy how to build out a digital product, which is pretty exciting. So it's really like, how do we get traffic, and then how do we turn that into money, and how can we do it quicker? So the quicker way is doing the digital product. The longer play is just developing content, letting it get seeded in the market, and then letting the traffic come back, and then turning on an ad network. Like, that's like the longer term play. Let's see here. Okay, Grace, I'm getting out of the learning phase, and it's exciting and scary. Yes, it's going to be both, but lean on the exciting. What are you excited about? Like, what are you excited about, Grace? Like, what are you excited about getting out of the learning phase? Right? Is it that, I'm going to be able to actually do this now and get something and actually see that I've done something, I've built something, right? There's something to that. Great. Oh, thanks, Scott, for calling me out yesterday. Needed that. Yeah, no problem. I'm good at doing that every now and then. Oh, here's Octavio. I call it just-in-time learning. Just learn what you need for today. Take action. The learn why you need for your next big bucket item, and so on. Yeah. And actually, I learned that from Pat Flynn, who he learned it from a couple guys. I think it was like Internet Mastery or something like that. It was they've been around for a long time. But yeah, it's just-in-time learning. Like, what do you need to learn right now? Like, if you need to build your website, what do you need to learn in that process in order to get there? Or you haven't picked your market yet. What do you need to learn there? You need to go through the brand growth validation checklist. That's what you need to do, right? First step, right? That's what you need to do. So you got to figure out what are your steps, and then just learn the things that you need to learn right now. Don't go start learning about, funnel building over here. You haven't even gotten a digital product yet, right? So who cares about that? That doesn't matter right now. Derek, I have all these shiny objects that I have already bought. It is causing analysis paralysis. Well, yeah, you might need to shelf them for a little while, Derek. Shelf them. They'll be there, right? Pick the one thing that you got to do right now and to get to where you want to go. Pat from YouTube. Hey, what's up? From where you get traffic via Pinterest. Is it internal search or Google or group boards? No group boards, by the way. I know that's a strategy out there that people have used in the past. We haven't used any group boards. Not saying we won't, but we wanted it to be a very, very clean, organic strategy. And that's what we just taught in the Pinterest traffic workshop, which just wrapped up, by the way, which was really fun. But yeah, so we're getting it from internal searches and also people finding us on boards that we've been posted on. And then some of our boards are also getting picked up. As far as what's the ratio, how many people are searching on Google and finding a Pinterest search over to our website, I don't know that. All I do know is at getting about 300,000 impressions, which sounds great, but what I'm looking more at is the clicks. And we're averaging now anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 link clicks. And it was funny, we had someone on our Pinterest traffic workshop, and she came in and she kind of took the kind of like the buckshot approach, where she's just like, I'm just going to go ahead and put a whole bunch of stuff out there in my market in different categories just to kind of get found, but really wasn't dialed in for her own stuff. Then came into our training and started getting dialed in. But she had, even coming in, over 600,000 impressions, which sounds great. But then we said, okay, out of the 600,000, how many clicks are you getting to your website? And she actually reported back, and it was pretty impressive. She's getting over, I believe it's over 13,500 link clicks by just using that strategy. So, yeah, there's not really a right or a wrong way to do it. Although I would say trying to be as organic and natural as possible and not relying on a group board or a tribe, as they call it, inside of Pinterest. Let's see, Karen, in 3 months, I want to offer a digital download on my emails that I send weekly that are adding value. Where do I go to get help with putting the digital asset together? Well, Karen, you're going to be in luck, because I'm almost sure that is happening. I'm just not sure if it's happening first. But inside of Brand Creators Academy, we're going to be teaching that. And that's going to be happening. And I just did a poll in our Facebook group, and I asked, because we're going to do 2 different ones. We're going to do email marketing. So we're going to do a whole training on email marketing. And then I also asked for doing a digital product to digital funnel, and I had them vote on it. And I'm pretty sure the digital product creation won the vote. But that doesn't mean we're not going to do them both. But basically, that's right now, you just need to keep creating that content that you and I talked about. And then from there, we can bundle that up. That will be the training, in a sense, as well as like how to create that digital offer. How do you decide whether you need an email list or not on your brands? Well, to be quite honest with you, when you have an email list, you have to be willing and you have to be committed to showing up and delivering emails. So the one brand, we did it as a case study, so we had to do it in a sense. The second one, we didn't do it because we didn't want to have to manage it right now. And we wanted to also see what would happen if we just put out content with no email list. And it's still doing very well. So I just think it comes down to priorities and what you are doing right now, right? So the email list is really, really handy for getting people to go to the website almost immediately. But if you are struggling with time and building content and doing your research as far as like your keyword research and stuff like that, then don't do the email list yet, right? That can come second or third. So yeah. Justin, would you sell an ebook via Gumroad or Amazon's Kindle store? Well, the Kindle store is good because you get their traffic. So there's pros and cons. If you use Gumroad, you're able to kind of use your own funnel to do that. Also, if you use KDP, which is the Kindle, it's kind of like their own, it's their own network. You have to commit to that, and you have to also commit that you will not sell that book anywhere else for a certain period of time. So if you list it there for $2.99 because you know Kindle books are selling for $2.99, you can't really offer it on your website for $9.99. So that's why Gumroad just gives you the ability to deliver the product and create a very simple sales page, and then you can drive traffic to it. So me personally, I would prefer right now, and I've done both, by the way, I would prefer to just create the ebook and then sell it on my own site right now. I can get more for it, and I can turn that into a digital funnel. But both are great options, by the way. Octavio says, love Pat Flynn too. Yeah, Pat's a great guy. Actually wearing his shirt right now. Happy Monday, y'all. What's up, Gio? Grace, excited about having a schedule and weekly plan to focus on my brand. Small steps are best for me right now. And that's it. Chunk it down. This is a great day also to say, listen, it's Monday, right? Or if you're listening to this on Friday, well, it's Friday, but today's Monday, the time that I'm on here doing the coffee talk. Take the week Take your big tasks for the week, come up with 3, and then chunk them down. What does it look like? What are you going to work on today? What are you going to work on tomorrow? What are you going to work on the next day? And do not get distracted. Okay. Those are the things that have to get done by the end of the week. All right. And just chunk it down. All right. So guys, that is pretty much what I wanted to share with you guys here today. I will say this, if you guys are at all interested in really validating your market, if you haven't done so already, you want to grab our free checklist. Okay. It's our little cheat sheet. You can go to brandcreators.com and it is there. Yes, it is also exactly what I teach. Create something of value, give it away for free. Okay. That's our lead magnet. Okay. It's our lead magnet to see who is actually interested in building a brand and how can we help them with a quick win. The quick win there is in 10 minutes or less, you will have validated your market. And this way here, you know if it's a good decision or not. And it'll also show you the opportunities that your market has available to you, right? So definitely check that out. The other thing is I should also mention this, Brand Creators Academy. You guys hear me talk about it quite often. Octavio is just here. He's in our academy. Karen's here. She's in the academy. We're going to be opening July 6th. Some of you have asked, when are you going to be opening the academy? I want to join. We're not opening until July 6th. We only open 4 times a year. That will be one of those times, and we stay open for 5 days. If you are interested, well, just be here on the Coffee Talks and I'll let you know, or mark your calendar and go to, you can go to brandcreators.com and we'll have probably a little hello bar there at the time that'll show you that. But if you get the checklist, you will be on our email list and we'll also notify you through email. But if you're on the Coffee Talks, you'll definitely be hearing about it. But that's July 6th. So make sure if you're interested, be ready for that. And then just the last thing is if you did want to grab a copy of this, and you can actually see exactly what the steps are and everything laid out. I mean, literally everything laid out in this. This is at brandcreatorsbook.com, and you can get all the details there. All right. So, and Octavio's given some feedback for Derek, so I'll read it. Octavio says, I too have shiny object syndrome, but I had to decide if I was really serious about building my brand or if I wanted to chase the shiny. Distractions have always derailed me, so I'm committed to brand building and nothing else. And that has made all the difference. Focus on creating successful habits until you're consistent. You got this. And that's why I love Octavio. Octavio, thank you, man. I appreciate you, brother. And Gio, currently struggling with a long list of things to do, chunking it down and spreading it out over several weeks. Now I just have to be patient. Yes. Commit and be patient, and also feel good every time you get one task done, Gio. Every single time, right? Every time that you get it, you're like, yes, I got it. I got this. All right. And Gio, you're in Brand Creators Academy too. So all you need to do is just lean on your fellow Academy members. Got a couple of good niches with good numbers. We'll be posting in BCA to get feedback. Yes, do that. That's the other cool thing in BCA is we're very open and transparent, and we get to see exactly the niches that you guys are building, and then we get to give our feedback, and everyone else gets to chime in. It's been so awesome to be able to do that, and I appreciate all you guys that are in the Academy for doing that. So awesome. All right, guys, that's it. That's going to wrap it up. Like I said at the top of the hour, if you know someone that would get a benefit from showing up here and hanging out with us, or if you just want someone to hang out with us that you feel is a good fit for our group, our little Take Action crew here, invite them. Just share it. Maybe tell them in an email. Let them know on YouTube. Let them know on Facebook, wherever you're watching this. And that would be awesome. We'd really, truly appreciate that. All right. So that's it, guys. That is going to wrap up this little coffee talk. If you want to watch all the past coffee talks, just go here. If you're watching on YouTube after this is live, I will put a playlist right there. And then you can go back to all of the past coffee talks. Find one, only one that you can watch right now. So this way here, you can get something done that you're either stuck on or that you've been putting off. And I'm sure there's going to be something in there that'll help you with that one thing. All right, guys, take care, take action, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Have an awesome day, guys.